Week. With me now, Senator Michael Bennet of Colorado. He's on the Senate Intelligence Committee and, of course, a Democratic presidential candidate. Senator, we appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
So you will likely, assuming this gets through the House, be sitting as a juror in a Senate trial of a sitting U.S. president here. You have said that you would vote to convict if the impeachment vote goes to the Senate. Has your position changed?
It hasn't changed. And what I've said is that if the evidence continues to be consistent with the evidence that we've seen so far, I think this is exactly the reason why the framers put in the Constitution what they put in the Constitution.
Now, the president has telegraphed, as have other sitting Republican lawmakers, that they're going to call a whole host of witnesses here, at least they hope to, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden, perhaps the whistleblower. Are we going to see that? See them forced to testify on the Senate floor?
I obviously have no idea what witnesses they're going to call, but I mean, it is certainly true that the president has stonewalled this entire investigation. He hasn't allowed the people who actually, you know, from the administration who could exonerate him if he wanted to have them exonerated. They haven't testified. He's just said no. So I think he will. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Donald Trump tried to turn his own impeachment trial into a show trial. That's what you'd expect from a guy who's a reality TV star.
Can you see your Republican colleagues, a majority of them, demanding that, for instance, a Joe Biden testify at this trial, or his son?
I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think the Bidens have anything to do with what we're trying to consider with President Trump. What I hope is that in the end, this will be a process where we can begin to restore the American people's faith in the rule of law again, and why these institutions actually matter, and why we need a president who is not spending all of his time watching cable television and tweeting out stuff, but somebody's actually doing the job.
You and others have made the constitutional case for this. There are, of course, the politics of this and what the political effect will be. I've spoken to Republican lawmakers who say their polling shows that impeachment is helping them in key swing states and key swing districts. Do you believe Democrats will pay a political price for this?
I think polls go up and polls go down, and there's no way to know. But I think Nancy Pelosi was right when she said that the president had left her no choice. I mean, if we don't stand up against this kind of behavior, what it means is future presidents will try to get away with this kind of behavior. And in a democracy, that is not the way it's supposed to work. So we have to do what we have to do, and I hope we do it in a way that builds confidence in the American people rather than creates more of a lack of confidence like they've had the last few years.
You're a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, well aware, well briefed on Russia's threat to Europe, its increased malign and aggressive activities. We had the president at NATO and another contentious NATO summit where you had the French president questioning the reliability of the U.S. commitment to NATO, which frankly the president himself has raised in some of his public comments. Tell us the effects of that.
The effects are huge. I mean, it says a lot that our allies would like Donald Trump, nothing more than for him to be a one-term president, but Vladimir Putin, the Chinese, and the Iranians would love to have Donald Trump win another term because they are advancing their cause, and the cause of Western democracy has been set back by Donald Trump. So, I mean, I was amused, as everybody was, by what happened yesterday, but the cost of this guy being in the White House is what we really need to be worried about, and it's serious. I mean, the Russians, you just heard James Clapper say, they're going to be back in 2020 because this president stood on a stage in Helsinki next to Putin and said, I don't see any reason not to take his word, even though every single intelligence agency we have has said the Russians interfered. You got the Iranians who are doubling the number of centrifuges they're spinning to enrich uranium because they know President Trump won't do anything to them or about it, as long as they stay off Fox News, I suppose. And that's the cost of having him there. That's why we need to change.
You of course, are running to replace Donald Trump as president. You're not on the debate stage on the upcoming debate. How do you remain in the race going forward?
I'm going to remain in the race, putting one foot in front of the other. I'm going to do 50 town halls in Iowa, to meeting people face to face, and I don't think the debate stage has helped our cause. I mean, obviously I'd love to be on there, but I think the rules were lousy, and I don't think it's helped the Democrats' cause. The number one thing voters are trying to figure out is who can beat Donald Trump, and I don't think they're satisfied with any of the front-running candidates. I'm the only candidate in this race that's won 2 swing states, 2 national elections in a swing state. Nobody else has, and if we want to beat Donald Trump and win the Senate back, I think we should nominate the opposite of Donald Trump, and I'm offering myself up as that candidate.
Does Michael Bloomberg's entry into the race indicate to you that there is widespread fear among Democrats that the slate of candidates is not up to, at this point, defeating Trump?
I think there is. I think he sees an opportunity because I think he's detected that concern, and he's very smart, and the people around him are very smart as well, and they wouldn't be doing this if they didn't think there was an opportunity. I believe the field is less consolidated today than it has been in a year. That may sound self-serving of me to say it, but that's what I believe, and I'm going to stay in this race and make my case until the voters have a chance to decide.
There's some history that may be on your side. I think I read recently that Jimmy Carter was in 10th place in the polls in 1976 around this time.
The Carter model, that will take, at least he told the American people that he'd tell the truth, and I think that's what the American people want to see. They want to see opportunity restored to America, and they want to see integrity restored to the White House, and that's
Senator,
what I offer.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, Senator, and thanks so much for joining the program.
Appreciate it.
My next guest says that